really only one or two of them are kind of okay. I'm not a huge fan of them, but you know, maybe sometimes you can get something cool out of it. So let's go back and try it out. Let's see what we can get. So we'll just go through them real quick. You got your vivid look, and then your vivid warm and vivid cool. The vivid cool one, sometimes I quite like. This does have its moments. And dramatic. This is the other one that I like. It's a high contrast, undersaturated look. That one can be kind of cool. And there's dramatic, warm, and cool, and monochromatic, and silver tone. Actually, that one's kind of not too bad there, isn't it? That's kind of all right. And then noir, some kind of a super high contrast black and white thing. So a variety of them. It's, again, one of those, I almost never use them. They're, occasionally I hit it, and I go, you know, that's not too bad. If I don't want to take the time to go into Snapseed or some other incredible app. Because that's the thing, on iOS, you've got all these amazing apps, and maybe that's why Apple just didn't bother to put a lot of effort into these, because they know that there are so many great apps out there that do incredible looks with just a tap or two. There's not much point in wasting time doing that. Maybe that's what they're thinking. I don't know. But anyway. Suffice it to say, you don't have a whole lot in there to choose from. All right, next, underneath that, this is where we get into the real controls. So on the surface, in fact, let me do a quick reset here. Kind of an interesting point. There's no easy way to reset at this point, right? There's no revert button. I have to hit done in the top right. Hit done. There we go, to get out of there. And then go back into edit, and now there's a revert button, right? But as soon as I start changing it, so do something, you see it says done up at the top, but there's not a revert. You know what, I just never tried this. I'm going to tap and hold on that done button. Nope. So there's no, as far as I know, there's no way to revert this image without actually exiting and then going back into the editor and hitting revert. If someone's watching and, if someone's watching and knows a way to do that, let me know, because I have never found that, and that would be a really nice thing, because a lot of times, you know, you go in there, you're playing, and then you go, I don't like, let's just start over. Where's my revert? I don't want to have to back out and then go back into the editor just to revert. Seems silly, but if you know a way, let me know. Okay, back into the editor. We are working with a reverted image. I'm going to start with, go back to those the dials, the main control dials down there. So that's on the right-hand side. You see the little kind of knob button. And then next to that, we now see light, color, and black and white. And that doesn't seem like much, does it? It seems like a very minimal amount of controls. And if we tap on light, even from here, it's like, well, there's not a whole lot going on. And look, there's the color in black and white down at the bottom, but I tapped on light. I've got one slider, and now I can drag this up and down. I can make the image brighter or darker. But as you probably already know, especially if you've been watching the other tutorials, and if you're watching the image closely here, you can tell, hold on a second, it's doing more than getting brighter and darker. There's something else going on in here. Well, if we tap on the three little lines underneath that color strip, that will reveal all of the controls. Now, on Mac OS, you'll remember that when you're adjusting the light, you have the same type of interface, the same bar where the image gets brighter and darker, but there's a lot more to it. And as you drag that, you'll see the sliders all bouncing off of each other in different directions, telling you, showing you, that the app is in fact making a whole bunch of different adjustments simultaneously, not necessarily even in the same direction. Sometimes when you go to brighten an image, one slider goes up, the other slider goes down, they're going opposites from each other. You're like, wow, that's really cool. Same thing's happening here. The only difference is you can't see it happening in real time. And remember that those adjustments, all the sliders moving, are not just a preset, oh, when you slide your finger a quarter inch to the right, it moves the exposure down 0.2 and the brightness up 0.3. No, that's not what it's doing. It is analyzing the image and looking at that image specifically and making adjustments based off of it. So let's go in, and now that we're into this, now we can start adjusting them individually. But again, you can't see the individual adjustments as you make the global adjustment. But I can do them individually. So there's brightness, so I can look at just the brightness on there, and I can go back in and say, okay, let's take the exposure and let's take that down a little bit. And go back in, let's take my highlights and pull those down. I want to darken my highlights, and let's go back into the exposure and brighten that up a little bit. So you have this level of control, contrast, black point, and so on. So all the controls you have are brilliance, exposure, highlights, shadows, brightness, contrast, and black point. Or you simply grab the major light slider and just let the app do it all for you as you drag that. Underneath that, you have color. Same idea. From color, you have a single slider that allows you to make the image more or less colorful. Yet, if I tap on the three lines underneath that, it expands out to show me what controls are actually there. So you have your dedicated saturation slider. You have a color contrast slider. So adding contrast into the...
You've just watched a 5-minute sample of a live training video. To see the rest of it, head to PhotoApps.Expert/live where you can purchase and download it, or sign up as a member. Members can stream any live training video as often as they like and have access to video tips and other exclusive member bonuses. To learn more about membership, head to PhotoApps.Expert/member.